Hello, my name is Lauren Dobbs. I'm one of the school counselors here at Del Lago, and today I will be sharing with you our Finding and Funding College presentation. So when we talk about finding a college that is going to be a good fit for a student, we talk about focusing on three areas. The first is the academic fit, second, the campus culture fit, and finally, the financial fit. So when we're talking about the academic fit of a college for a particular student, we're focusing on the average GPA of students who get accepted into that school, along with the average ACT and SAT scores, and also the majors and minors that are offered at that particular school. So for example, many colleges post the information fairly easily on their website. This first link here, I'm going to click on and show you. This is for the University of California. You can search any of the UC schools and find out overall the number of students that applied to that school, the number that were admitted, and the average high school GPA of the students that were admitted. So this is UC Berkeley, and you can see that the average high school GPA of students that were admitted to UC Berkeley was between a 4.12 and a 4.3. You can compare that to maybe UC Merced, which isn't quite as competitive of a UC school to be accepted at. So you can see that their overall admission rate was much higher than UC Berkeley, and also their average GPA for the students that were admitted was significantly lower. So at UC Merced, the average GPA of students that were admitted to that school was a 3.39 to a 4.0. But you can find this information for many schools just by going to their freshman profile or searching for average GPA of admitted students. So this is for San Diego State University, and you can see this is over time their average high school GPA along with average SAT and ACT scores of students who were admitted to San Diego State University. So for the fall of 2020, the average high school GPA was a 3.81, average SAT scores 1198, and average ACT scores a 25.2. So this is really helpful information when students are thinking about which colleges they want to apply to and making sure that they are applying to schools that are academically a good fit for them. So when we advise students on their college applications, we normally encourage them to apply to about 2 to 3 REACH schools. So these are the schools that maybe the student's academic credentials fall below the school's range for the average admitted freshman. So for example, we looked at UC Berkeley. And their average GPA of students who are admitted to their school is between a 4.12 and a 4.3. So this would be maybe a student who has a 3.8, a 3.9 GPA. For them, UC Berkeley would be considered a REACH school. Then we encourage students to apply to 3 to 4 match schools. So these are schools where a student's academic credentials fall well within, or maybe even on the higher end or slightly exceed the average range of GPA and ACT and SAT scores for the students who are admitted to that school. So we looked at San Diego State University, and so maybe a student who has a 4.2 or 4.3 GPA, San Diego State University would be a good match school for them. And then we encourage students to apply to 2 to 3 safety schools. So these are schools where a student's academic credentials fall above the school's range for the average admitted freshman. And these are schools that you can be reasonably certain that you'll be admitted to these schools. So Again, we want students to aim high and apply to schools, those more competitive schools, but we also want them to have those safety schools on their list. So for many of our students, that is maybe Palomar College, maybe looking at starting at a 2-year college would be a safety school for them. For some students too, that would be Cal State San Marcos. We do have a agreement with them. So for our students who have over a 3.0 GPA, they have guaranteed admissions into Cal State San Marcos. So that might be a safety school. Again, these are the schools where a student is fairly certain they will be admitted to that school. Then after academic fit, we also look at campus culture fit. So thinking about college, this is a place where a student's going to spend 4 years of their life, possibly longer. And so it really needs to, the surroundings of the school really need to be a good fit for the student. So thinking about the region of the country, does the student feel comfortable maybe moving to a different state or moving to a different part of California that is far away from family and from home? Also thinking about the setting of the school. So does the student feel comfortable in a really urban setting, or maybe they're used to being here in San Diego, and would they feel comfortable being in a really rural setting where there wasn't as much going on in the town around the school? And then thinking about the size of the school, will the student feel comfortable in a really large public university where maybe they have really large lecture classes, or would they feel more comfortable in a smaller school where their class sizes are smaller, they have more access to their professors? And then thinking about if the student is planning to play sports in college. So this could be at the intercollegiate level, so they could actually be playing for the school, but this could also be at the intramural level. So many students decide that they don't necessarily want to put in the commitment of playing full time for their college, but maybe they have the option of playing in an intramural league, and that allows them to continue playing, but not quite with the same level of dedication that it takes to play at the intercollegiate level. And then what other things are important to the student? Do they want to go to a school that has a religious affiliation? Are they interested in getting involved with Greek life? Does the student want to go to a school where they have access to an ROTC program so that they can then join the military after they're done with college? So all these things a student should really take into consideration when they are looking at colleges and trying to decide what's going to be that perfect fit for them. So this is a really helpful tool when students are looking for colleges. This is the Big Future College Search tool. It is hosted by College Board, and that is the same company that administers the PSAT, the SAT, and the AP tests. But this allows students to search by lots of different criteria. So for example, if the student was looking for a 4-year public university, let's look, and then we'll put in a few other, maybe in California, where they could study psychology. I think we're going to have to change to a different psychology. Let's go to clinical psychology. So here you go. Then you get a really nice list of four-year public colleges in California that have a psychology major. So San Diego State University, Cal State Fullerton, San Jose State University, Cal State San Bernardino. So again, this is a really helpful tool that students can use when they're trying to narrow down that list of schools that are going to be a good fit for them. And then finally, we talk about the financial fit of a school. So every student in their senior year, regardless of financial need, should complete a financial aid application. And this is either a FAFSA, which stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid, or the CAUTA application, which is the California DREAM Act application. So if students are U.S. citizens, they have a green card showing they are a U.S. permanent resident, they are an eligible non-citizen or a T visa holder, they will apply for financial aid using the FAFSA application. And I have the website here, it's fafsa.gov. If students are undocumented, they have a valid or expired DACA, they're a U visa holder, or they have temporary protected status here in the United States, they will be applying for financial aid using the California DREAM Act application. And that website is dream.csac.ca.gov. So every senior should apply for financial aid using one of these applications. Students won't apply for financial aid using both. They will either use the FAFSA or the California DREAM Act application. And these applications are available beginning October 1st of a student's senior year, and then they close on March 2nd. But we always encourage students, make sure they get them filled out first semester of their senior year. So really before we leave for winter break in their senior year, they really should have either their FAFSA or their California DREAM Act application completed and submitted. And the nice thing about having those applications submitted early is that when the students then receive acceptance letters from the colleges that they've applied to, they will also receive a financial aid award letter showing them how much they qualify for in financial aid. And this is going to be based on family's financial situation. So applying for financial aid, when you do that, you will put in information from the previous year's tax return, information about how much money parents have in cash and savings and investments. And then the college will evaluate all of that and determine how much money the student qualifies for in financial aid. So then when the student receives their financial aid award notification, it will be a combination of these different things. So some money will be given to students in the form of scholarships. These can be earned directly through the college. These can also be earned through outside organizations. And in a second, I'm going to share some resources with you to search for additional scholarships. But scholarships are free money that does not need to be paid back. So trying to maximize the amount of scholarships that a student receives is good. That's a good thing. Then a student may also be eligible for grants. And grants are usually offered by the federal and state government. Types of grants include the Pell Grant, the Cal Grant. This is, again, free money that does not need to be paid back. And grants are usually based on the student qualifying for them based on financial need. So there are different thresholds of income that a family must earn under, and then that will qualify students to be eligible for Pell Grants or Pell Grants, which come from the federal government, possibly Cal Grants, which come from the state government. And then work study, this is a really good opportunity for students to receive money for college. So these are federally funded jobs on college campuses, and basically the money that you earn from the job um, goes to help pay your tuition and your college costs. So when you fill out either the FAFSA or the California Dream Act application, there'll be a question on whether or not you want to be considered for work study. And we always encourage students to say that yes, they would like to be considered for work study. And then loans. This will also be a part of a student's financial aid award package. So these are offered by the federal government and private institutions. This is money that is expected to be borrowed and then paid back later with interest. So we always want to try and encourage students to take out the least amount possible in loans and to instead, try and maximize the amount that they're receiving in scholarships, grants, or work study. So for families or for students who may not qualify for a lot of money in financial aid because families' finances are kind of over those thresholds to qualify for some of those need-based scholarships or grants, we encourage students to search for additional outside scholarships. So this first link, this is our Del Lago Scholarship Database. I'm going to show you what it looks like when you open it up. And this has lots of really helpful information in regards to searching for scholarships, applying for scholarships. So these general scholarship search sites are websites where students will create an account, enter information about themselves, and then they will get emailed and have access to lots of scholarships that they might be eligible for. So we encourage students to maybe set up maybe make a profile on 2 or 3 of these different websites in order to start searching for outside scholarships. This resource also has scholarships broken down by different ethnic and racial areas. So again, we encourage students to look into these. San Diego Foundation is a really good place for our students here in San Diego to search for scholarships. This website has lots of local scholarships that students can apply for, and so we always encourage students to check out that. And then in this document, this is our scholarship database. So anytime we receive information about a scholarship, it gets entered into this database. So you can see the name of the scholarship, a link to the scholarship website, a description about the scholarship, when the scholarship is due. Most of these are due sometime during a student's senior year of high school, how much money the scholarship is for. And so there's lots of scholarships here. We encourage students to check out our Del Lago scholarship database when they're starting to look for outside scholarships. I mentioned San Diego Foundation. This is another really great place to look. There is a common scholarship application that students will fill out, and then they can apply for lots of local scholarships in the San Diego area. This website also has links to other scholarships that are available. So we really encourage students to check out the San Diego Foundation website to look for local scholarships for students here in San Diego. And then I just highlighted a few of those larger scholarship search websites. FastWeb is a good one. Students create an account, and then again, it links them to lots of scholarships that they can then apply for. Usually, applying for these additional scholarships, it requires some sort of application, many times some sort of essay. So we do encourage students to start looking at this early, just so that they can start putting together a list of scholarships that they plan to apply to. Because we know that senior year gets very busy with all the college applications and completing their financial aid application. And so we encourage students to also start looking at scholarships early so that they aren't missing deadlines. So this is just a little example. We always tell students, don't let the sticker price of a school scare you from applying to that school. So for example, this is Stanford University, and for the 2020-2021 academic year, this is how much it would cost. This is the sticker price of how much it would cost to attend Stanford University for one school year. So when you add up their tuition, their room and board, additional fees, it's $78,218 to attend Stanford University for 1 year. However, when a student applies for financial aid, they will see how much money the student's family makes in a year. And for families that make less than $65,000 a year, the average net cost for a student going to Stanford is $4,000. And so you can see it, and it goes up from there depending on families' financial situation. So again, we always encourage students when it comes to applying to colleges, don't let that sticker price scare you. Go ahead and apply, fill out your application. When it comes to making your final decision, of course, yes, how much money you're going to have to take out in loans, or how much money parents may need to contribute to your college education is a huge factor. But just know that sometimes students will be eligible for a lot more in financial aid than they may originally think. And so definitely, if that's your dream school, you really want to go there, apply. And then once you receive your acceptances and you receive your financial aid awards, then you can take finances into consideration and think about, what's really going to make the most sense for you and your family. So if you have any questions about any of this information, please feel free to reach out to me, Lauren Dobbs. I'm one of the school counselors here at Del Lago. I'm assigned to students whose last names are from A to L-I. You can see my email address here on the screen. And then also Jose Ramirez is our other school counselor who's assigned to students whose last names are from L-J to Z, and his email address is listed. So please feel free to reach out to either of us with any questions you might have. Thank you.